Now that we have decided, or I have decided that we're going to stay here, there's a few things I need to do to get my garden tidied. I sold the frame that this thornless blackberry was climbing over, and I'm going to pull that out. They've fallen over. I might be able to reuse those. My veggie pod, let's go and have a look and see what's happening. I sold the table that they were sitting on. Some of those will come back again. I just need to give them some attention. My veggie pod is kind of doing something. It's still got the, look, ants everywhere and snails. Got the onions are, it's been really cold, so I suppose I can't complain too much. But I always feel as though the plants in here don't get enough nutrients. So maybe I need to get something. I've probably got something. I need to put some stuff on. And of course, this thing was bought to actually keep the slugs and snails out, and it's useless for doing that. So this bed, I am debating whether to pull this whole area up, start again. I don't know whether I want to continue putting stuff in the baths. I can certainly replant that ground cover somewhere, and I might just pull this whole space down and start again. The baths were kind of alright, but yeah, again, I think because they're in, maybe that's the thing about raised beds that are not sitting on the ground. The wormies have not got a chance to get into the bed to do what the worms do. So yeah, this whole space is where I'm going to plant potatoes. So I'm kind of like smothering weeds at the moment. And as you can see, I've got a few determined weeds to pluck up. I have got my hydrangeas in here. They've been in here for a while. They're starting to bud up, can you see? They look really dead, don't they? But I'm pretty sure they'll come back. This is the chicken's dust bath, but I'm going to put my tomatoes back in here and rearrange the framing. Strawberry bed went mad, but again, strawberries just seem to come back, don't they? They come back. This stuff, borage, comes back every time. It's all over the place. So yeah, we're smothering weeds, so I'm not quite sure how well that's happening because there's holes in the tap and it gets blown off, so it doesn't happen. This is, the hens have done a good job of spreading this out. I'm not sure I wanted it spreading out, but either bring it all back together again. I was thinking about doing some beds with just on the dirt rather than, so I pulled all the raised bed things off, which were all starting to rot anyway. They did pretty well, and so now I've got 3 beds which the hens are starting to scatter, so and the animals are discovering the toilet, so I've got to do something there. And these 2 I was going to pull down as well, just because it's really hard, this gap in the middle, to keep the weeds down. So I've got some, what's this one? Parsley, doing pretty well actually there, isn't it? And yeah, so there's a few, the wood's starting to rot, so there's a bit of, I just need some stronger muscles. My muscles are not strong enough. This bed actually doesn't look too bad, like I might even be able to get another season out of that bed. Just need to pull off its leftover weeds. So that's the garden. I think I just need to reduce it a little bit. I could just let that go back into lawn, although I've got some really nice soil that I've worked on over the few years in there. But of course the weeds say thank you very much for the really nice soil. I've got a guy coming and mowing my grass. I wouldn't believe he actually came on Saturday, and look at it, it's really, really grown. My dogs have disappeared. So I just yelled at the dog, so hopefully I did manage to pause the video while I did that. And you didn't hear me yelling, but if you did, that's just life on the farm. And is the video moving? So there's the alpacas. We've got 11, I think, and the hens are doing well. So yeah, that's the garden, and now I need to redesign it, I think, and figure out how much of the garden I need. I probably fill all that space where the tap is with my potatoes and my pumpkins, or I could do something else. All I've got growing at the moment is a few onions and strawberries. So the alpacas. Shearing's coming up again in another month or so. I'm kind of happy that we're not going. Well, things are going to change with Grant's living accommodation. I'll talk more about that later when it actually happens. But it looks like it's just going to be me and Emily here. We're out of water. He's been in there again. So, yeah, garden. How much of it do I actually want? I'm going to rip some strawberries out. The strawberries in those broken tubs over there actually did really well last year. They did better than all that lot there. But they've all started to come over the side. So, maybe it's not so disastrous. I just need to figure out what I want to do. And whether I did plant flowers, you see, in some of these beds, so it kind of stopped. I'm trying to smother alpine strawberries here. It's having mixed effect, the mint. So they keep growing, look, they're growing everywhere. Bye, alpine strawberries. We don't want you anymore. So yeah, garden.